Saint Arsenius, Metropolitan of Rostov, February 29th. A Greek deacon serving under the Ecumenical Patriarch is sent to Russia on an ecclesiastical mission and is subsequently chosen and consecrated as the Bishop of Rostov. The life of Saint Arsenius, Metropolitan of Rostov, unfolds from the heart of Orthodox Byzantium to the northern lands of Rus, bearing witness to the unity and continuity of the Church. Born a Greek in Constantinople, the venerable city of emperors and patriarchs, Arsenius dedicated his early years to service within the Ecumenical Patriarchate. He served as a deacon, a sacred office requiring humility and diligence, and as a scribe to the Holy Patriarch Philotheus. In this capacity, he engaged with the sacred texts and ecclesiastical correspondence that sustained the Church's life, developing a deep understanding of its traditions and governance. His work under the Patriarch prepared him for future responsibilities, shaping his character through obedience and faithful service. In the year 1379, a significant mission called Arsenius to new lands. Patriarch Philotheus dispatched a delegation to Russia, carrying a letter to the Russian Metropolitan, a matter of ecclesiastical importance that bridged the spiritual centers of the Orthodox world. Deacon Arsenius was part of this delegation, undertaking the arduous journey from Constantinople to the distant territories of Rus. This journey was not merely a physical passage, but a spiritual one, extending the reach of Orthodox communion and mutual support. Upon his arrival in Russia, Arsenius's virtue and wisdom became evident. The local church recognized his spiritual qualities, his quiet dedication, and his capacity for leadership. At that time, the episcopal throne of Rostov became vacant. The clergy and faithful, discerning the presence of God's grace in Arsenius, chose him to be their spiritual shepherd. This was a profound act of faith, entrusting the care of a diocese to one who, though a stranger in origin, was recognized as a brother in Christ and a worthy servant of the Church. The consecration of Arsenius as the Bishop of Rostov was performed by the revered Saint Alexis, Metropolitan of Moscow. Saint Alexis, a figure of immense spiritual authority and pastoral wisdom, laid his hands upon Arsenius, imparting the grace of the episcopacy. This act connected Arsenius directly to the apostolic succession, empowering him to teach the Orthodox faith, administer the sacraments, and guide the flock of Rostov according to the canons and traditions of the Holy Church. The consecration by Saint Alexis underscored the unity of the Russian Church with the broader Orthodox world, even as it affirmed Arsenius's personal call to episcopal service. Saint Arsenius's tenure as the Bishop of Rostov was brief, lasting less than a year. Despite the short duration of his episcopate, he fulfilled his sacred duties with piety and dedication. A bishop's role encompasses the spiritual oversight of his diocese, offering guidance, celebrating the divine liturgy, and upholding the integrity of the faith. Even in a limited time, a faithful hierarch establishes a foundation of righteous leadership and offers a personal example of Christian living. Saint Arsenius lived out the calling to serve the Church, demonstrating that the measure of service is not solely in its length, but in its faithfulness and sincerity. In the year 1380, Saint Arsenius reposed peacefully in the Lord. His earthly journey concluded, and his soul was gathered to the company of the righteous. He was laid to rest in the Dormition Cathedral in Rostov, a sacred place where the faithful continued to venerate his memory. Though his life in Russia was short, his witness to the Orthodox faith, his humble service as a deacon, and his brief but pious episcopate left an enduring impression. The Church remembers Saint Arsenius, Metropolitan of Rostov, on May 28th, honoring his life as an example of dedication to Christ and his Holy Church, a testament to the grace that works through all who serve with humility and truth.